Happy Friday the 13th, everybody. Welcome back to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. We have an interesting weather pattern taking hold over the next 7 to 10 days. We'll dive into the details and trouble in the tropics. We have something to talk about as we go into next week later on in today's video. If you want detailed weather breakdowns across North America and on the tropics, this is the channel for you. So make sure you don't forget to press the subscribe button down below and you get all of those updates right here on this channel. Be sure also to press the thumbs up button down below. It helps to get all of this weather information out to as many people as possible. Going back over the past day or so, over the past 24 hours, here is your rainfall accumulation across the United States. You can see a couple of corridors here of some heavier rains. Obviously, our main storm system up here across the Central Plains and Midwest wreaking havoc last night with a warm front trying to lift north across the Midwest, producing a narrow corridor there across Iowa, Nebraska, northern Illinois, into northwest Indiana of 1 to 3 inches worth of rain, and very heavy rain down here with a separate storm system across the southeast, wreaking havoc across southern Mississippi, south central Alabama, much of the Georgia area region, and then getting down in towards northern Florida and also South Carolina as well. But our main storm system of note is moving across the Midwest, and it is maturing as we go through today. You can see this is concerning from a severe weather standpoint as you see a negatively tilted trough, and this time of year we have more wind shear in play. So with negatively tilted troughs comes the threat for severe weather. So my severe weather forecast for today, anywhere outlined here in the yellow across the Midwest, the western Great Lakes region, we could have the possibility of some severe weather. All modes of severe weather are in play, including 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, quarter-size hail, and a couple of brief isolated tornadoes here as we go through this afternoon and this evening especially. So let's break this down for you with the timing across the Midwest and the western Great Lakes. This morning, we have a strong cold front moving through portions of the eastern Iowa region into northeastern portions of Missouri, western Illinois. This is going to spawn some very heavy rain, some heavier thunderstorms, and some embedded instances of isolated severe weather this morning. But as we go into the afternoon, now it's not going to be extreme instability much like we see in the summertime, but just enough coupled with our wind shear out there where we start to see those overlap across western Illinois, northeast Missouri, and especially eastern and southeastern Iowa this afternoon around 3, 4, and even 5 o'clock. And that is where we're going to start to see more widely scattered strong to severe storms, posing the risk for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, quarter-size hail, and a couple of brief isolated tornadoes here. And I think that threat will be maximized across southeastern Iowa, northeastern Missouri, into west central Illinois, say from the Keokuk region up toward Davenport, Quad Cities, Macomb, and then down toward the Kirksville, Missouri area as we go into this afternoon. Now, the HRRR model has this initial area of showers and storms moving through the Illinois Valley this morning with almost an uninterrupted break in the rainfall here. But the NAM model has a major break in the rain this afternoon here. And I tend to lean toward the NAM 3KM model where we have that line of showers and storms this morning. That pushes east toward the Chicagoland area. As we get into the afternoon, we have a sizable break in the rain, shower, and thunderstorm activity this afternoon. And then near the low pressure center itself, as it spirals across the Hawkeye State there in Iowa, we're going to see additional isolated to widely scattered storms develop this afternoon, and those will push toward the Illinois Valley towards this evening and into the overnight hours, and then this will all push east as we go into the overnight into early on Saturday morning with a weakening trend in the heavy rain and the severe weather threat as well. But once it's said and done, additional rainfall accumulation, and by the way, this is on top of what we have seen over the past 24 hours. Many of these areas have seen 1 to 3 inches of rain. Well, you're going to be adding on to that by another 1 to 3 inches of rain across portions of Iowa, northern Illinois, getting into northwestern Indiana and northward. I think the Badger State up here into Wisconsin and up here into southern Minnesota, even Michigan there, seeing some very heavy rainfall into your Saturday morning. Zooming it in here, the Twin Cities, you're up around 2.5 inches. La Crosse, Wisconsin, up around 1 to 2. Up from the Green Bay region down there toward Milwaukee, Chicago, 1 to 3 inches respectively, and then over toward Detroit, around 3/4 of an inch to up to an inch of rain there as we go through the next 24 to 48 hours. This will be causing some trouble, possibly with some flash flooding out there. So if you're in the green or especially the yellow shaded color, you have at least a 5 to a 15% chance of flash flooding within 50 miles of any of these locations today and as we go into your Saturday morning. So turn around, don't drown. Please do not drive on flooded roadways. It is not worth it here, especially at night. But then on the backside of this storm, it's not just the rain and severe weather we have to talk about, it is the winds, and it's going to be howling across portions of the Great Plains here. We have wind advisories. We even have high wind warnings across portions of Nebraska, getting into western and northwest Kansas and portions of eastern Colorado as we go through the next couple of days. And look at these wind gusts, folks. Today into your Saturday, yes, these winds will be screaming in behind the storm system. In fact, there could be some isolated gusts up to 65, perhaps up to 70 miles per hour, and a spot or two into eastern Colorado there, western Kansas, getting into west central portions of Nebraska. So make sure you secure any objects that are outside that are loose because things will be blowing around. Your trash can might be down the street. You might have a couple of decorations for Halloween down the street. So just make sure you secure any objects outdoors in these regions in the Central Plains as we go through the next couple of days. In the wake of this storm system, we get another push of cold air from Canada as a Canadian high pressure system works into the eastern 2/3 of the country. Next work week here on Monday, October 16th, we're going to see below normal temperatures, possibly as much as 10 to 15 degrees below normal for this time of year as we go into the southeast and up and towards the Ohio Valley with warmer than normal conditions for western Canada, up there into British Columbia, Alberta, and Saskatchewan, but also southward into the lower 48, especially across the Rockies and the Intermountain West, where some areas could be up to as much as 15 degrees above average on Monday. We'll moderate those temperatures to around average on Wednesday by the middle of next week, but then we start to see another storm system arise across the Mississippi Valley next Friday, and that will knock our temperatures down below average for the Mississippi Valley, the Ohio Valley, the southeast again toward the end of next week. And with that storm system, it will be starving for moisture out there by the middle of next week. This is on Wednesday, October 18th. You see, this is a low pressure system up across portions there of the upper Midwest, and it's really starving for moisture, just some isolated to widely scattered showers and storms. Probably not talking about much in the way of severe weather next week, but there could be some areas with some spotty showers, just a pesky low pressure system moving through on Thursday. And then as we go into Friday, all that rain really moves to the east across the eastern seaboard, and we're high and dry across the Rockies, the West Coast, the Midwest, down through the plains as we go into next Friday. But overall, additional rainfall accumulation as we go through the middle of next week towards the late portion of next week, the start of next weekend. There will be some areas that get a couple of heavy downpours that could add up to around an inch, but other than that, we're seeing basically a half an inch or lower in a lot more areas than not. So that's what we're seeing, mainly centered across the Mississippi Valley here, up across the upper Mississippi Valley, the mid Mississippi Valley, and the lower Mississippi Valley as we go into the middle and late portion of next week. And then in the wake of that system, we'll have another cold push of air like we see here as we go into this weekend, and we'll do it all over again, cooler than normal into late October as we go toward Halloween across the southeast, and then warmer across the west as we go into late October. But we'll also be drying out, more importantly, as we get closer toward Halloween there as well. So crossing our fingers for those trick-or-treaters out there. Maybe it'll be warmer, maybe it'll be drier out there across the country as we get toward late October. Now we're talking tropics here. We got a lot to talk about here. It's been a while since we've talked about the tropics. We do have Tropical Storm Sean out here spinning into the main development region, otherwise known as the MDR, and this is going to continue to press off to the north and west here today, and as we go into this weekend on Saturday, Sunday time frame, the 14th and 15th, this really is going to start to weaken and basically dissipate. So Sean is going to be something of the past as we go into this weekend. But notice down here, just to the west of Africa, yes, another open tropical wave is moving into the main development region, and it is still warm out here, folks. folks. The water temperatures are well above average still, as we've talked about all hurricane season long, and the National Hurricane Center is already giving this a 50-50 odds, a 50% chance of development moving across the main development region and pointed towards the Leeward Islands as we go through the next 7 to 10 days. So looking here, the start of next work week, and the next storm system would be named Tammy if it can get going here. This is the European forecast model on Monday, October 16th. It's just getting going, maybe a tropical depression as early as that Monday time frame next week, quickly developing into a tropical storm, if not a Category 1 hurricane by the middle of next week, according to this model. And then as it approaches the Leeward Islands, this could be a formidable hurricane somewhere closer to this region by the end of next week. By the time we talk a week from today, we could be talking about a pretty significant hurricane there approaching the Caribbean as we go into next Friday, October 20th. And just to back it up here, the EPS ensemble guidance, this is the European ensemble members. It has a lot of these model runs. It puts all the errors aside, and you can see there's a lot of different solutions from north of the islands, again, much like we've seen with the past few systems, or a direct hit on the Leeward Islands. So this is an area to watch. So if you live in Puerto Rico, if you live in the Leeward Islands, the Lesser Antilles region, make sure to stay tuned to the weather forecast over the next week or so, because there is a lot of support for this, and you can see dragging it along to the GEFS ensemble members, basically into the same area as well. So we're going to continue to watch this for you folks out there in the tropics as we go through the next few videos to make sure you stay safe out here. That is for sure. And it's nothing too original here or too unfamiliar really across this region. We're basically seeing the hurricane season at its finest. We're continuing to see it all the way through the rest of October here. Hurricane season really doesn't end until late November, early December. So we still have a little ways to go, at least a few more weeks before we can hopefully say goodbye to the 2023 hurricane season. Well, if you want any winter weather updates here this winter, make sure again to subscribe to the channel and watch my winter weather forecast for 2023 and 2024. Lots of great information in this video. You can find it in the description below, the link to that video there. Leave any comments, questions, and concerns on it that you have about this upcoming winter. Give it a like as well, especially if you like the content on there, and I definitely appreciate it. Make sure to like this video, share this video with friends, family, and on social media, whether it's on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I definitely appreciate it. Also, subscribe to the channel so you get detailed weather breakdowns across North America and the tropics, and I hope everybody has a great rest of their weekend out there.